25 relationship quotes that will make you think about your relationships. Happy relationships are hard to create and maintain, but they are the most rewarding thing we can have in our lives. They are better than power and money because they give us something those things can't give us: support, companionship, and value. It takes some real understanding of what makes relationships healthy and happy to be successful at it. Unfortunately, we are not all born with a natural instinct on how to make the most out of our relationships. But with practice, and in hindsight, things get much clearer. Following are some relationship quotes that have come from people who have had that practice or experience to understand a few things about relationships and what is healthy or not. Number one, it's not always better to be in a relationship. The quote reads, "It's better to be healthy alone than sick with someone else." Phil McGraw. Phil McGraw has seen his share of unhealthy relationships, so he has a pretty good insight into this simple truth. Being in an unhealthy relationship can actually make you sick, just as being in a healthy relationship can make you stronger. The fights, stress, and worry that comes from constantly feeling unhappy does a number on your health, and in that case, it really is better to be healthy alone. This is one of the relationship quotes that can benefit all the single people out there who think that any relationship would be better than being single. It wouldn't. If you can choose to see being single as healthier than being in an unhealthy relationship, then you can change your perception on being single and what it really means for you. Number two, what is passionate love all about? The quote reads, "Intense love does not measure, it just gives." Mother Teresa. In all your relationships where love is present, remember this quote from Mother Teresa. When you love someone intensely, you don't measure what they do or say and adjust your love to them. Instead, you act from a place in your heart that wants them to be happy and fulfilled. Moreover, you don't measure what you do or say to them and then base how loving you are off that. You do what you need to do without a ruler on hand, and you do it until it is done or feels right. Do you understand the power of this quote? When you can just love without expectations, every relationship becomes so much better. Number three, you have to leave the past behind. The quote reads, "If you're ever going to be happy, you can't bring it up anymore." Steve Wilkos. Steve Wilkos is a talk show host who commonly has to deal with some of the worst relationships: people cheating, people beating each other up, people being mean, rude, and condescending. He deals with relationships that are extremely unhealthy on his show, and he has a good sense of what they need to do to move forward in a healthy way, if they should move forward at all. This quote was taken from Steve telling a man who had just found out that his wife hadn't cheated, despite something he thought he saw. Steve told him that if they were going to move forward into a happy relationship, he had to stop bringing up the trespass that he believed she had done. That's great relationship advice. If you keep harping on the same old things over and over again, you get stuck. You can't move forward and develop healthier views towards each other or habits with each other because you are still reliving something that happened, or in this case, didn't happen. If you choose to stay in your relationships, any relationship, then you have to let go of the negative past, or you will never be happy. Number four, here's the difference between mature love and immature love. The quote reads, "Immature love says, 'I love you because I need you.' Mature love says, 'I need you because I love you.'" Eric Fromm. As teenagers and even in our early 20s, we are stuck in an immature love state. We want everyone else to do for us, and we view our relationships from a needy view rather than a loving view. I think anyone who has ever lost their grandparent or parent, or someone else at a young age when they were stuck in this mindset, has come to this realization when they matured and realized that love creates the need, not the other way around. If you don't look at someone and need them because you love them, then you need to reevaluate how you view love. Yes, maturity happens with experience. That gives you the wisdom to see the truth behind certain things, but reflection also does that. So reflect on what love really is, and if you feel needy towards the people in your life more than you feel a genuine bond of love, then try flipping the script. Number 5. Don't you want to live in a beautiful garden? The quote reads, "A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead." Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde was talking about love. All the people who have experienced a lack of love know that this is true. This is why you always need to allow room for love in your heart. Don't shut yourself off to it. Don't stop looking for it. Don't stop accepting it into your life. Make love the focal point of your life, and life will feel like a beautiful garden full of vibrant flowers instead of the dreaded alternative. Number 6. Your relationships have been about many things. The quote reads, "A person isn't who they are during the last conversation you had with them. They're who they've been throughout your entire relationship." Rainer Maria Rilke. Don't define your relationships by the last encounter you had with someone. It's important to remember that people go through ups and downs, and so do relationships. Just because you don't see eye to eye today does not mean you should judge someone solely on that experience. It's easy to do, but you shouldn't do it. From now on, when you get upset with someone or when you just want a clearer picture of what someone means to you, look at the big picture. Remember all the things they've done for you and all the great memories you have. Remember the moments where you loved them or felt joy that they were in your life. Reflect on the relationship as a whole, and you will see things in a much different light. Number 7. Always look for and let love in. The quote reads, "You never lose by loving. You always lose by holding back." Barbara DeAngelis. A friend of mine runs a relationship blog, and many single people tell him that they have closed themselves off to love forever. It hurts them too much, they say, and they are not willing to risk feeling any more pain by letting love into their life. What a mistake they are making. Barbara DeAngelis is a relationship consultant, and I imagine that she hears that faulty declaration quite a bit too. The scary truth is that if you close yourself off to love, you are always going to lose out. You will lose out on some insight into yourself and your life. You will lose out on the chance to be happy and experience some amazing moments where your garden is lit up and full of flowers. Closing yourself off to love will keep you in a state of anger, resentment, and unhappiness, which is worse than experiencing love and some pain once in a while. Number 8. The best way to ruin a relationship is, and the quote reads, "Assumptions are the termites of relationships." Henry Winkler. I grew up with the saying that if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. This is really the basis of assumptions in a relationship. You are rarely right because you are just projecting your beliefs on someone else and not actually seeing things from their point of view. Assuming things includes thinking you know what other people meant when they said something, thinking you know what someone else's actions meant, thinking you know how someone is going to act or react. All of these things will eat away at your relationship and cause you to be angry or frustrated, and it all stems from your inability to communicate and find out the truth. If you assume long enough, like Henry Winkler said, those assumptions will eventually eat away the structure of your relationship and it will fall apart. Number 9. Value the people you can share your life with. The quote reads, "Someone to tell it to is one of the fundamental needs of human beings." Miles Franklin. What is one thing about relationships that we all cherish? The ability to share our excitement, letdowns, surprises, worries, and joy. We all want people to understand that something has happened to us. We instinctively try to make sure of it. And when we have someone to do that with, that need is filled over and over again. Cherish your relationships for this reason. Recognize how powerful it is to talk to someone and share the things that matter most to you with them. And if you don't have someone to do that with, then it's time you found them. It's one of the ultimate rewards of a relationship. Number 10. You should like the people you love. The quote reads, "Lust is easy. Love is hard. Like is most important." Carl Rayner. The basis of an unhealthy relationship is not liking each other. When you don't like the person you are with, it doesn't matter how much history you have or how much love you have shared. Your relationship is going to cause more strain than benefit to your life. A friend of mine is in a relationship where she doesn't like her husband and he doesn't like her. They have nothing in common. They fight about each other's way of doing things and can't get on the same page. They have different qualities that they identify with. And they would rather spend time apart than together. They don't like each other, and their relationship is horrible because of it. He's cheating on her, and she's turning into a pile of mush who thinks she can't do any better with her life. When you dislike each other, bad things happen. In other words, if you are in a relationship where you've had the lust or the love, but no longer have the like, then it's time to get out. That's not a relationship. That's a waste of time that you could be spending with someone you actually like. Number 11, keep your bonds flexible. And the quote reads, if one does not wish bonds broken, one should make them elastic and thereby strengthen them. Ardent Dupic. This is one of the most unique relationship quotes I've found, and one of the truest. If you want a relationship to last the test of time, then you need to let go of being rigid in the relationship and instead create a flexible bond that goes with the flow but never breaks. I have a friend who I've been friends with since we were in kindergarten. We grew up with different beliefs, we went on wildly different paths in life, but we always let our bond be like elastic, accepting each other, not getting too rigid with each other, and not letting go of the relationship we have. And that has kept us friends, while everyone else has gone away. Number 12. Your relationship is like a shark. And the quote reads, I think a relationship is like a shark. It has to constantly move forward, or it dies. Woody Allen. Considering that Woody Allen has been divorced twice and married 3 times, I think he has some insight into what can go wrong in a relationship. And this quote just shows why his third marriage has likely lasted so long. Relationships grow or fall apart, but they never stay the same. That's because people and circumstances change, which means the relationship dynamics need to change too. That requires work. It requires going with the flow, adapting to new things, and working together to move forward happy and fulfilled. When you can both do that, you can keep any relationship moving forward and avoid watching it sink. Number 13, keep the light shining on each other. And the quote reads, don't smother each other. No one can grow in the shade. Leo Biscaglia. Another part about maturing in love is learning this little lesson. Recognizing that love is about 2 separate people with 2 separate paths in life is important to have a healthy relationship. Why? Because it is important to have 2 healthy individuals contributing to the relationship. If you are smothering each other, then neither one of you can do what you need to do to be fulfilled and happy in life, and you can't carry that happiness and fulfillment into your relationship. All you can do is stop growing outside of the relationship and get stuck in a state of being obsessed with each other or dependent on each other, which drains your confidence and affects you negatively. Number 14. Intimate relationships are hard. And the quote reads, the easiest kind of relationship for me is with 10,000 people. The hardest is with one. Joan Baez. Intimate relationships are tough. It's hard to say hard things. It's hard to compromise and work together. It's hard to move through hurt or pain and forgive. Joan Baez is a songwriter who often sings about social justice, and that obviously bonds her with the people who believe in what she is singing about. It's easy to get along with a bunch of people that you don't have to relate to on an intimate level, even if the number is as big as 10,000. But when everyone else leaves and you are face to face with someone who you are invested in, things get a little tough. Note, they also get more rewarding. Number 15. Those long-term relationships you have must be pretty special. And the quote reads, when we face pain in relationships, our first response is often to sever bonds rather than to maintain commitment. Bell Hooks. Look at all the people who are still in your life, and then realize how special they must be to you when you think of this quote. It's much easier to dump someone out of your life than it is to keep them in it. When we get rid of them, we don't have to talk things through, work on anything, or do anything else that can be hard. The people in your life must be something special if you have been willing to keep them around despite how much easier it would have been to leave them. Number 16. Do you want someone in your life for the wrong reason? And the quote reads, when it's in your mind that you can steal someone away from someone else, it's inevitably for the wrong reason. Jerry Springer. Yes, Jerry Springer has a crazy talk show with crazy people, but he's not crazy himself. He's completely aware of how insane his guests are and what they could do to have better relationships. And this is one of the relationship quotes he gave at the end of his show to try to add some sane advice into some people's lives who needed to hear it. Apply his advice to your life, too. If you want someone in your life and you are doing everything in your power to steal them away from someone else, then you are doing it for the wrong reason. Maybe your ego needs some recognition, or maybe you have put yourself in a contest where you want to be better than someone else and win the person in the relationship. But it is most definitely for a bad reason. A relationship is not about trying to get what someone else has or make somebody inaccessible to everyone else. It's about having a bond, supporting each other, and being of value to each other, making sure all your relationships are for the right reasons. Number 17. Here's a tip on how to avoid being lonely. And the quote reads, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you're alone with. Wayne W. Dyer. We talked about how important it is to like the people you love, and this quote adds a whole new level to that importance. Relationships are supposed to help us feel less alone in the world, right? And they do have the ability to do that. If you like you and the people in your life, then you will never be lonely. Alternatively, if you don't like yourself or the people in your life, you will always be lonely. Liking others has everything to do with avoiding judgment, finding commonalities, interacting properly, and sharing experiences. Liking yourself has everything to do with being your best and most authentic self at all times and following a moral code that makes you feel good at the end of the day. Number 18. Are you always unsure in your relationships? And the quote reads, the fundamental glue that holds any relationship together is trust. Brian Tracy. Ask any relationship expert what you absolutely need in a healthy relationship, and they will tell you trust. How much trust do you have in your relationships? Are you suspicious of everyone? Do you feel like they are never being upfront with you? If that's the case, then you need to work on the trust in your relationships if you want to make sure they stand the test of time. Trust is a fundamental element of relationships because the opposite of trust, doubt, will cause you to do ridiculous things, such as blame, argue, and hide things from the people in your life. Doing those things eats away at the bond you have with them. Eventually, that doubt will break the bond completely. It will be too hard for you to trust them and too hard for them to try to prove themselves to you. Number 19. Don't settle for just anyone in your life. And the quote reads, you need to assess this person to figure out if they're a good fit for you. Alexandra Redke. Alexandra Redke said this relationship quote on a TED Talk on how to select the right relationship. I think that many people don't give this much consideration when they are entering into a new relationship. They feel like they can work through any obvious big issues, but in hindsight, it becomes apparent that the big things are very hard to work through. The best way to get into a bad relationship is to hope that they like you without giving any consideration to whether you like them. It's important to figure out what you need from a relationship and then make sure that you pick people in your life that match those needs. You only have so much time to spend with other people, so why waste it with people who don't give you what you need out of a relationship? Number 20. You are worthy of love. And the quote reads, there's so much goodness in you, and you are all, each and every one of you, worthy of love and belonging. Billy Ward. This is one of those relationship quotes that has a few meanings, In fact, it has a few very important meanings to remember. First, you are worthy of being loved and of belonging. If you are not treated with love and don't feel a sense of belonging, then you are not being treated with the attention or respect that you deserve. It's important that you demand that attention and respect in your relationships and teach people that it is not okay to treat you with a lack of it. That will help you get into and maintain healthier relationships. Second, don't tell yourself that you are not worthy of love or fitting in with people, because you are. Cut out that negative self talk and remind yourself that you are full of goodness and have a lot to offer other people. You are valuable to other people. You are important to other people. Always remind yourself of that so that you can stay open to beneficial relationships. Number 21. Ask yourself some important relationship questions. And the quote reads, "The questions I ask myself are, where do I need to love myself more? What is it that I'm here to learn? What is it that I believe about myself that this situation is showing me? And then, what can I do about it?" Tracy McMillan. Tracy McMillan is a relationship expert, and she says these four questions are important to ask when your relationship is not working. Many of us are used to asking questions about the other person, such as why can't they do this or why do they behave the way they do. But these questions take things inward and help you look at your relationship with someone in a completely different way. When you can answer these four questions, you will figure out your part in why the relationship is not working, what you should be learning from the relationship issue so that you can move forward better, what your limiting beliefs are in the relationship, and what you can do to make things better. And when you have that information, you can get started on making things awesome. For example, you may find that you are allowing someone to walk all over you and that you need to value your self worth more. You may be having this problem because you need to learn that you are stronger than you think you are, even though you have the limiting belief that you are weak. And you may decide that you have to stand up for yourself once and for all. When you do, your relationship will change in one way or the other. Either it will improve or it will end, but either way, you won't be stuck in a relationship that isn't working anymore. Number 22. Here's how to stop being mistreated in relationships. And the quote reads, "People violate you when you don't have clear boundaries because you don't tell them how to behave in your life." Ayanna Vincent. In Ayanna's work, she often comes across unhealthy relationships. She has many relationship quotes that are powerful reminders of how to create and maintain healthy relationships. But I really like this one. Not many people think about setting boundaries in their life, but it is an important thing to do for your relationship happiness. Boundaries tell other people what you will or will not take from them. They teach other people how they can treat you. They help you maintain happiness in your relationship because you are not putting up with things that stress you out or make you upset. Boundaries can include not allowing other people to talk down to you, not allowing other people to abuse you, how much time you're willing to spend with other people, and letting people know when you value your alone time. What people can and cannot share with others about your life, very important in social media, and what you are willing to do for other people. When you check in with yourself, your needs, your feelings, and your goals, you can create some boundaries that help you express what you need from your relationships and what you will not put up with. Then you will not have to worry about people violating you and getting away with it. Number 23. You shouldn't have to be fake in relationships. And the quote reads, "An intimate relationship is one that allows you to be yourself." Deepak Chopra. If you find yourself having to be someone you are not in your relationships, then you need to re examine those relationships. If you feel you have to be someone else in order to gain respect or love from someone, then that is not a real relationship. They don't know the real you. They don't get to see the true version of you. In reality, they are more like strangers than they are someone you are in a relationship with. Think about that. If you are being fake in a relationship, then this is a huge indicator that you have not embraced yourself for who you are around that person, and that will lead to many problems that affect more than just your relationship. It will cause you to avoid going after your dreams and avoid doing things that actually make you feel good when you are around them. Moreover, you will not be able to live in a way that feels authentic to you, which will be stressful and make you unhappy. The bottom line is that you shouldn't have to pretend to be someone you are not in your relationships, including the relationship with yourself. Be authentic, and you will enjoy your relationships and your life much more. Number 24, relationships matter the most. And the quote reads, "The longer I go about living, I see it's the relationship that is most meaningful." William Shatner. Older people can teach us what matters most in life, and from William Shatner to every grandparent in the world, strong relationships will fall at the top of that list. Relationships provide meaning to your life in a way that nothing else can do, so it's important to make them an important part of your life. In other words, if you are faced with a decision where you need to tend to a relationship, or go to work, or do anything else that doesn't involve your relationship, then make sure that you tend to your relationship. While work is very important, losing your relationship would hurt much more than losing your job. And while your favorite TV show may be something you want to watch, listening to a person who needs to be listened to will be much more rewarding to your life. Your relationship with others and yourself always should be what comes first in life. And number 25, take part in others' experiences. The quote reads, "Our lives are enriched by others' experiences." John Gray. Relationship quotes can help you create a better relationship or a better life, and this one is definitely one that does both. When you understand that your life is enriched by paying attention to and being involved in other people's experiences, you can create stronger relationships and a happier life. By paying attention to others' experiences and seeing how it affects them and changes their life, you can use that information in your own life to make it better. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. You see new things and then you apply them to your life. We also become more compassionate when we take part in other people's experiences. We stop judging and we start observing. It's the best way to understand why other people do what they do in life. Lastly, by sharing others' experiences, your bond becomes stronger with them. Going through the ups and downs with them helps them feel supported and loved, and you feel needed and valued. Therefore, think outside of yourself often. Look past your life and into the lives of the people around you. See things from their point of view. Watch them as they go through experiences and react to them. Be a part of their life for a while. Do that, and your whole life will change.